This video I'm making is the result of many requests for a list of tutorials that are on my YouTube channel, Flashthingy. So I'm going to try to do that. First of all, these tutorials I'm listing here were done on CS5, and the few at the end use ActionScript 3, but for most part they can also be done on Flash 8, except for the ActionScript may or may not work on Flash 8. I'll show you first of all the basic list. There's the first 10, which you can see. There's 10 more. There's another group of 10. And finally the last 4 in this series. Now if you notice right off the bat, after that I start again listing the same tutorials, and in each case I'm listing them as they are, but I'm giving you a brief description of them. So I'll do that in groups. So now let's have a look at these individual tutorials. The first one is called Getting Started, and what it talks about is the workspace area and how to manipulate that workspace area. Number 2 is the different kinds of files that you can use with Flash. Bitmaps, MP3s, Swift files, talks about those. And number 3 talks about the difference between using vectors versus bitmaps, different ways of making pictures and drawings. Now we start what's called the drawing tools. There's a pencil, naturally, rectangle and oval tools, and this deco tool, which is quite neat. When you draw, you're actually drawing the tree as you move your brush around. Flowers, you'll make flowers. You can make buildings just by stroking and moving your mouse. Free transform tool allows you to resize things. There's talks about the eyedropper, something called a straight line tool, lasso tool. The gradient tool. This tool allows you to do things like put a shine on a ball or something like that, to make something look round. Set up your video. It'll allow you to choose different frame rates and stuff like that. Shows you how to cut and paste from one frame to another. And this is probably the best animation tool for basic animation. It's called tweening. You make an object, you tell it to move so many frames, and it moves those frames, and you can move it up or down or any way you want. We have more tweening and more tweening. That's moving the objects around. Symbols, that's the kind of objects you make. You can either have something called a graphic or a movie clip or a button. They're all explained on the individual tutorials. Here we're talking about changing things with inside the symbols and changing their alpha, their brightness, their tint, and things like that. More tweening. There's more tweening of the symbols. Even more tweening, so you can see how important this tweening is. This orientation tweening, that allows you, for example, if you have a racing car going around the stage, when you turn a corner, it'll turn automatically for you. This guided animation tells you exactly a path you want an object to take using these tweens. A very good tool. This one here allows you to animate your name, for example, but it could be any letters. Working with layers, if you've drawn with layers in other programs, this works much the same, but basically layers allows you to put things behind things and things in front of things. And this one, animation with those layers, very important. Learn how to make masks. Masks are a way of allowing a certain part of an image to be seen or not seen. Like if you drew a circle and said only show what's inside that circle, you could move that circle around the stage and just see what's behind it. Here's one, draw or trace. If you're good at drawing, you're fortunate. Or you can import a picture into Flash and trace over it using those layers. If you're going to do any kind of interactivity, you need to know how to make buttons. That's the things that you see when you move your mouse around on a website and you see that little finger hand with the finger pointing. That's a button. You'll learn to make those. And now we're going to start incorporating what you learned. So we're going to make a binocular so that you can look through it and you'll just see where the circle of the binocular is and nothing else, and you move it around. That uses that mask. Here we're going to talk about movie clips or graphics. Movie clips have a big advantage over graphics. You can't write action script on a graphic, but you can on movie clips. Learn what an instance name is. The instance name is something that you give to a movie clip so you can write action script on it. Here you're going to make a button that when you roll over it, it turns into a stick of dynamite, and then when you press on it, it explodes, which shows you the different parts of a button. Which timeline? There's different timelines. There's the main timeline, then there's timelines in movie clips, and the timelines are those individual frames where you could put different animations and just like a film strip. Here we're going to start doing some basic action script, very basic. And the last two in this series is you're going to make a slideshow presentation where you'll import pictures into Flash, write a bit of script, and be able to press a button and go to the next one, the next one, the next one. And the last of this series is controlling those movie clips, which is much similar to this slide presentation. These tutorials were done over a period of time and may not necessarily be in order on my YouTube channel, so you may have to look around to find them all.